Good morning, students. So today I am come with a new topic on software engineering, which is software testing and its different basic concepts. So what is software testing? What are different software testing techniques? How it is executed, etc., etc. These are very important concepts. And after completing the software product, so we must test whether it satisfies customers' expectation or not. So testing is one of the another important unit of software engineering. So here software testing is evaluation of the software against requirement gathering from users and system specifications. Testing is conducted at the phase level in software development lifecycle or at module level in program code. So software testing comprises of validation and verification. So software validation. What do you mean by software validation? Software validation means validation is the process of examining whether or not the software satisfies the user requirements. It is carried out at the end of software development life cycle. If the software matches requirements for which it was made, it is validated. So validation ensures the product under development is as per the user requirements. So validation answer the questions: are we developing the product, software product, which attempt all the users needs from this software? So validation emphasizes on user requirements. So this is about software validation. Again, software verification. So verification is the process of confirming if the software is meeting the business requirement and is developed adhering to the proper specification and methodologies. That means verification ensures the product being developed is according to the design specification. Verification answers the questions: are we developing this product by firmly following all design specifications? So verification concentrates on design and system specification. So this about software verification and validation. Now target of the tester. Then we have some concepts of errors. What is errors? These are actual coding mistakes made by developers, software developers. So in addition, there are difference in output of software and desired output is considered as an error. If the output is different from the desired output, and if some mistake happens in coding section, so by software developer, then that type of concept is known as errors. Then come to fault. When error exists, then fault occurs. So a fault is also known as a bug, which is the result of an error which can cause system to fail. So fault is nothing but the result of an error. Next, failure. Failure is said to be the inability of the system to perform the desired task. So failure occurs when fault exists in the system. Failure occurs when fault exists in the system, and fault occurs when error exists in the system. So in this way, fault, failure, and errors are interrelated. So again, testing, we have manual versus automated testing. So testing can either done manually or automatically. Testing tool. So manual, this testing is performed without taking help of automated testing tools. So software tester prepares test case for different sections and levels of code, executes the test and report the result to the manager. So manual testing is time and resource consuming. The tester needs to confirm whether or not the right cases are used. So major portion of testing involves manual testing. Next comes the automated. So this testing is a testing procedure done with the aid of automated testing tools. So the limitation of manual testing can be overcome using automated test tools. So a test needs to check whether a web page can be opened in Internet Explorer. This can be easily done with the manual testing, but to check if the web server can take the load of 1 million users, it is quite impossible to test manually. So there are software and hardware tools which helps tester in conducting load testing, stress testing, and regression testing. So now come to testing approaches. Testing can be conducted based on two approaches. One is functionality testing and secondly implementation testing. So when functionality is being tested without taking the actual implementation in concern, it is known as black box testing. So the other side is known as white box testing, where not only functionality is tested, but the way it is implemented is also analyzed. So exhaustive tests are the best desired method for perfect testing. So every single possible value in the range of input and output values is tested. It is not possible to test each and every value in the real world scenario if range of values is large. Now come to black box testing. So it is carried out to test functionality of the program and also called behavioral testing. The tester in this case has a set of input values and respective desired results. So on providing input, if output match with the desired result, the program is tested okay, otherwise it is problematic. So the input and what happened here, so user cannot understand, and it also find output. So in testing method, the desired structure of the codes are not known to the tester. So what type of code and design and structure are here, so tester cannot know. The testing engineers and end user conduct this test on the software. So black box testing technique. Some techniques are here. So one is equivalence test, equivalence class. So the input is divided into smaller cases. If one element of class passes the test, it is assumed that all classes is passed. So boundary values. If the input is divided into higher and lower n values, if these values pass the test, it is assumed all values between them may pass too. Cause-effective graphing. In both previous method, only one input at a time is tested. Cause input effect output is testing technique, where combination of input values are tested in a systematic way. Pairwise testing. The behavior of software depends on multiple parameters. So in pairwise testing, the multiple parameters are tested pairwise for their different values. Next, state-based testing. In test-based system, the system sends states on provision of input. These systems are tested based on their states and input. So white box testing. It is conducted to test program and its implementations. In order to improve code efficiency or structure, it is also known as structural testing. So input and output. In this testing method, the design and structure of the code are known to the tester. So programmers of code conduct this test on code. Below, some white box testing technique are there. That means the user understands what type of activities done in this portion. So it is white box testing. So below, some white box testing. Control flow testing. The purpose of control flow testing is to set up test cases when cover all statement and branch condition. The branch condition are tested for both being true and false. So all that statements can be covered. Next, data flow testing. So this testing technique emphasizes to cover all data variables included in the program. It tests where the variable were declared and defined and where they are used or changed. Now come to testing levels. Testing itself may define at various levels in software development lifecycle. The testing progress runs parallel to software development. So before jumping on the next stage, a stage is tested, validated, and verified. So testing separately is done just to make sure that there are no hidden bugs or errors issues left in the software. So software is tested on various levels. So one is unit testing, next integration testing, next system testing, then acceptance testing, then regression testing. So in this way we have different levels of testing. Now if you see unit testing, while coding, the programmer performs some tests on that unit of program to know if it is error free. Testing is performed under white box testing approaches. So unit testing helps developer decide that individual units of the program are working as per requirement and are error free. So if we take small unit to test, and it is unit testing. Next, integration testing. So even if the units of software are working fine individually, they are needed to find out if the units is integrated together would also work without errors. So for example, argument passing and data updation. So integration testing means lots of unit testing are integrated and finally tested. If error is not, then it is okay. So system testing, the software is compiled as product and then it is tested as a whole. So if when we develop a system, the software product, and it is completed, and then when we test as a whole, this can be accomplished using one or more of the following tests. So these are functionality testing. Test all functionalities of the software against their requirement. Next, performance testing. This test probes how efficient the software is. It tests the effectiveness and average time taken by the software to do desired tasks. Performance testing is done by means of load testing and stress testing, whether the software is put under high user and data load under various environment conditions. So security and portability. These tests are done when software is meant to work on various platforms and accessed by a number of persons. Now, acceptance testing. When the software product is ready to hand over to the customer, it has to go through last phase of testing where it is tested for user interaction and response. So this is important because even if the software matches all user requirements and if user does not like the way it appears or works, it may be rejected. So there are two types of acceptance testing. One is alpha testing and one is beta testing. So in alpha testing, the team of developers themselves perform alpha testing by using the system as if it is being used in work environment. They try to find out how user would react to some action in software and how the system should respond to inputs. So beta testing means after the software is tested internally, it is handed over to the users to use it under their production environment only for testing purpose. This is not yet the delivered product, so developer expect that user at this stage will bring unit problems, so we should skip to that end. So finally, regression testing. So whenever a software product is updated with new code, features or functionality, this tested thoroughly to detect if there are any negative impact of the added code. This is known as regression testing. So now come to testing documents. The testing documents are prepared at different levels. So before testing, testing start with test case generation. Following documents are needed for reference. SRS documents. So functional requirement document. The test policy document. This describes how far testing should take place before releasing the product. So test strategy document. So this mention detailed aspect of test team responsibility matrix and right responsibility of test manager and test engineer. Traceability matrix document. So this is software development lifecycle documents which is related to requirement gathering process. and new requirements come, they are added to the matrix. So these are the tested documents. So while being tested, so these following documents may be required while testing is started and being done. Test case document. This document contains a list of tests required to the conduct. It includes unit test, integration test plan, system test plan, and acceptance test plan. So test description. This document is detailed description of all test cases and procedures to execute them. Then test case report. This document contains test case report as a result of test. And test logs. These documents contain test logs for every test case report. So after testing, the following documents may be generated after testing. Test summary. This test summary is collective analysis of all test report and logs. It summarizes and concludes if the software is ready to be launched. The software is released under version control system if it is ready to launch. Testing versus quality control, assurance and audit. So we need to understand software testing is defined from software quality assurance, software quality control and software auditing. So software quality assurance, these are software development process monitoring means by which it is assured that all measures are taken as per standard of organizations. So this monitoring is done to make sure that proper software development methods were followed. Software quality control. So this is a system to maintain the quality of software product. It may include functional and non-functional aspects of the software product which enhance the goodwill of the organization. And this system makes sure that the customer is receiving quality product for their requirements and products certified as fit for use. And software audit. This is review of procedure used by the organization to develop the software. A team of auditors, dependents of the development team, examines the software process, procedures, requirements, and other aspects of SDLs. So finally, today I conclude my class. Thank you.